Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Great to be with you, and hope you're having a good day, good start to your day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. And
the colors are right.
The white's really bright, man.
It's these
Do
lights.
I need a wardrobe change again?
Don't change. You look good. A black makes you look so thin.
Oh,
That's why I wear black, to make me look thin. That and fat makes me look fat, though. But
well, fat will make you look fat, brother. You said it. I didn't. I'm trying to help you. You walk in with that. I don't know what that
Did you
thing.
see that?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so they're advertising these snack packs on TV.
Don't mention the name.
All right, I won't mention the
I
name.
don't want any lawyers calling.
Okay, and they're advertising those as healthy snacks. Okay, and that thing has 250 calories in it. It's a protein and nuts. It's got 150 from fat.
Yeah.
So if you're not paying it, and this is the reason why I brought it in, is because a lot of people around here know I'm trying to lose weight, and so they're like, "Hey, my son doesn't eat these."
And neither should you.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that is just totally ridiculous.
That's not what a person trying to lose weight needs to eat. Not that.
No.
You'd be better off. Natural Factors, they have a protein bar. It's a plant-based one.
Yes.
Tastes pretty good. You could eat half of it. It's dense.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Whole Earth is bar.
We got to turn your mic on.
Is your mic not on, Ed?
There you go.
Whole Earth and Sea Bar with 15 grams of protein, no soy, and 9 grams of fiber.
How many calories in it?
It ends up being around 200 calories.
Okay, so that voice was not the voice from Christmas Past. That's Ed Graham, not to be confused with Vince McMahon.
Hey, they're wrestling tonight at the Armory, by the way. I just had to tell you that.
There you go. Yeah, I was named after a
So
wrestler.
you'd be better off to eat a half of that, if you wanted to, with a piece of fruit, a half an apple, if you wanted a snack.
Right.
I mean, that's not, no. 2 points. Went in. I didn't even look at it. It's in the garbage. No, that's not, you don't need to, that's 250 calories. You only have 1,200 a day.
Right.
That's your budget. You have 1,200 calories to spend a day. How do you, and you want to reserve 500 of those calories at least for dinner. You want to have a decent dinner. You know where we're getting this from, don't you?
Where's that?
It involves your company.
From the PGX manual? It sounds like. Are you taking?
Ding, 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 ding.
PGX, Gary?
Well, no, I'm trying to. That's the plan. Michael Lyon, Dr. Lyon was on last week on Friday. It was a great show. The guy is so accommodating. He needed to get to the airport. He pulled off to the side of the road to do the show.
Wow, that sounds like him. Great guy. He'll take his time out for you.
He's a good guy,
helping
man.
Other people.
Yeah, and so in his clinic, women on 1,000 calories a day, men 1,200, and they use PGX. And of course, he gets the most difficult cases. You can only get into that clinic by referral, right, although the Canadian government will pay for it. But the most difficult come to that clinic. And they have psychologists, nutritionists, dietitians, you name it, works in the clinic. They have a huge support system. And I have to talk with him. I'm going to see if I can get Gary the program, the breakdown, how they're doing it. But it's 1,200 calories a day. And you should be able to lose weight on 1,200 calories a day, Gary.
Yeah, and you really have to pay attention to what you're eating.
The biggest hint with that product, did you notice?
Was the calories from fat?
Did you see how it was packaged?
Yeah, individually.
Right.
They were broken up.
It's processed. That's highly processed. That food is dead. Okay? Grab a carrot, Bugs Bunny, some spinach, Popeye, do something, but not that in between meals. We'll figure it out. McDougall's soups are good. We'll talk about that. I'm bound and determined to get him to lose weight. 877-897-8255. That's a toll-free number. Gary's going to give you more information on how to get connected to the show. Then I want to make a comment about books with no references. Go ahead.
Isn't that okay? Yes, you can reach us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition. One word. You also follow us on the iHeart app. It's Let's Talk Nutrition. No hyphen S. One word. Let's Talk Nutrition.
Where we rank on the iHeart app now?
We're still in the top 5.
Okay.
We're still in the top 5. And don't forget, at Dr. Garko's, you can get Dr. Garko's email, drgarko at letstalknutrition.com.
And we stream on 3 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and our letstalknutrition.com platform if you're interested in watching the show. Apparently, 30,000 people a day on 5 continents do, according to our the company that uploads the show onto those platforms. We're averaging 30,000 a day. That's about 1 million a month. The only 2 I don't know. Did you look yesterday or today to see?
I did.
Day before? Are we on? We have not made it into South America.
Nope. And penguins still don't like us.
And the Antarctica. We can't get into those 2 continents. I don't know why. We're in Tokyo. I saw somebody in Tokyo was watching us. It's fun. I'm waiting for somebody from Europe to call in. And by the way, that's 813-636-8255. You have to use that number, 813-636-8255. Yesterday, going through my email, and I came across a piece of junk mail. And it was about, I won't give you the title of the book. And I went on Amazon, I looked at it. It deals with cancer and nutrition. I read the first dozen or so pages. That's all I had access to. Not one reference. In those 12 pages, more claims were made than I have since. Not one reference. Now, the person to my right, whom I know and respect a great deal, tells me he's familiar with the book and tells me that although he read it back a while back, that there are references at the end of the book. And I looked at the credentials of the author, and the author has good credentials. Here's a piece of unsolicited advice. If you buy a book that claims to be a book on some arena, in some issue dealing with health, and there are no references in the book, return the book. No references in a book can mean one of several things. One, the author believes that he or she knows it all and does not need to cite anyone. 2, the author can't cite the research because there's no research to support the claims in the book. 3, sloppy work and too lazy to put the references in. I don't know. Look at Einstein's articles. Even he cited references, okay? I'm just saying. And especially when you're dealing with a serious disease and somebody's dispensing advice about nutrition and cancer. And one claim that's often made is don't eat sugar because sugar feeds the cancer. Show me the body of work. Where are the data? Please, don't get pulled in. I don't care if one of the 12 apostles wrote it. If are no references in the book, how do you do that? Just a cautionary note. Let's Talk Nutrition Coast to Coast. We'll be back.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day. giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Figure's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
Although the apostles only need one reference. They've been known to write a few things, right? They made it in the big book, right? And they only need one reference. What I'm referring to is there are a lot of books out there on different diseases and so many charlatans. And they write these books and they go on Amazon and they sell like, hotcakes at IHOP. That doesn't mean that it's a good book. It means that maybe it's like a comic book and easy to read. And people, No references in a book on health. That's not a book I'm going to read. Sorry. I'm sorry. Not going to do it. Don't you do it either. You don't need to do that. There are wonderful writers out there. Go read Michael Lyon, Dr. Michael Lyon, or somebody like that. Dr. McGregor. I've given you the list. Dr. Neil Barnard. Dr. Esselstyn. I can go on and on. They put references in their books. I've never written an article. Why, hell, when I write a letter to somebody, I'm putting references in the book or an email. Just kidding. Edward Graham is my guest today, and I'm gonna give him a job to do. I'm gonna let him introduce the guest for the show. Yeah. You're on the air.
Well, glad to be here with you, Dr. Garko. Another one I'd like also, you were talking about people to reference, is Dr. Hyman.
Yes.
Very good. He has some great information on PGX if people heard us reference PGX. He wrote fantastic information about on Dr. Oz and those type things. I'm with Nancy Cheeseman. I get to travel with somebody I've known for over 10 years now. Well-versed on the women's line. She flew in yesterday from the great state of Oregon. Am I saying that right?
That's right.
Okay,
it's Oregon.
Make sure. You never know. You say Oregon. But fantastic woman.
She's with Natural Factors.
Natural Factors.
And her job at Natural Factors is?
Go ahead and explain exactly your full title.
I actually work on special projects. So I've worked with the women's line.
Is he considered a special project?
He is a very special project. And I also edit the Women's Voice magazine. So I work with all of our professionals in Canada. Mm-hmm. And putting together consumer-friendly health information that people can understand, people can practically apply in their lives.
Yes. So what do you make of my comment about references?
I think it's critical. I think it's critical to understand who your author is, to make sure that the information is documented, and not only that, but vetted. I think it needs to be vetted, and so I really appreciate. I think the apostles would do a great job. And
like I said, they only need one reference. They did. They referenced him often.
But I actually thought if you were going to pull a card, that was a good card to pull.
Yeah.
I think it's critical, especially nowadays when information is everywhere and people have access to it. They need to be reading information that's correct.
We are in the information age, and it's been a blessing and a curse, as you know. Mm-hmm. I've often said certainly there's a lot of information, but one wonders how accurate, how valid, how documented is the information. And oftentimes consumers, especially people who are beset with some particular illness or injury or disease, whatever, are seeking answers. Mm-hmm. And some are vulnerable. And when they're desperate and then they come across something that's looks very credible, easy to read, and all kinds of claims are being made, and they fall prey to it and end up making bad decisions.
Absolutely.
Have you experienced that in your career? Have you seen some of that?
I think everybody's been exposed to the fountain of youth, right? We look at something and it's almost too good to be true, and you think, it's too good to be true. But I also do think that taking things back and getting back to the simplistic life. You know, my grandmother was 96 years old when she died. She lived on a farm. They grew their own food. They didn't. There was no plastics. They weren't eating food out of styrofoam. I mean, I think sometimes it's simpler than we realize. Yes. You're telling your colleague to have a carrot, and I mean, seriously, one of the best snacks in the world is just a half of a Honeycrisp apple with some nut butter. You put some nut butter. I'm telling you, it's a great snack. It'll fill you up. It's got protein and
with some water.
Exactly, big glass of water and some PGX. And but I think really taking things back a little bit, stepping back a little bit, and being more intentional in everything you do, being in this moment. You know, this is a great moment.
Being in the moment. That is. I don't know why I'm getting it. I sound hollow. Is that me, Stephen? Am I?
If I could add something, Doc.
Yes.
I've been traveling health food stores for 25 years, and I see They come in and people they're desperate a lot of times, and they'll try a certain tea, if you will, for a little bit. Then they'll jump to this new magic herb, and it's all over the place. They're very confused, like you said, and they're listening to so many people. It is hard to look for these references, and that was a great point.
Just watch the Daily Show on TV. Just watch any Daily Show on TV. And one of the topics is always weight loss.
Right.
You do this, do that, do this, and it's hard. I mean,
afternoon programming, early morning, mid-morning, afternoon talk shows, Gary, you're right. Weight loss is a big issue, and no pun intended, because 68% of the population is struggling with weight.
Well, and if I might add, the American Thyroid Association estimates 20 million Americans have some form of low thyroid disease.
We're going to talk about that today.
They're undiagnosed.
Okay, and you can give a first-hand account about that. As I said yesterday, I'm often asked the question, what's the, one single thing that people can do? They ask me, what can I do? What do you recommend to help turn my health around? When I come back, I'll give you the answer. It won't be long. It won't be a long answer. There's only 4 letters in the word.
The perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace, for healthy sleep naturally.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show and whatever you may be doing. The answer to the question that I often get when I'm asked, what can I do for my health? What will turn my health around? What's the best piece of advice you can give me? It's a 4-letter word, diet. Focus on your diet. Move to a whole food diet. And move to one that's more plant-based than not. I didn't say it doesn't have to be exclusive, depending on your health, but diet. Diet is the driving force for health, wellness, and well-being. You can exercise till you're blue in the face. You can meditate. You can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if your diet is sideways, and you are nutritionally deficient, all columns begin to collapse. Think about that. Everyone says, you hear them say, oh, the body can heal itself. How do you think it does that? What are the instruments by which it heals itself? It's the chemicals found in food, in the plants in particular. That's how it heals itself. That's its medicine. My guest knows a thing or two about that, right?
Yes.
You write a lot for consumers. Do you get a chance to talk to them much?
Actually, yes.
What's the most common question that you get or concern? Would you say the top 1 or 2 or 3?
I can't sleep. I can't sleep. They fall asleep at 10 o'clock at night, wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They start thinking about work or family or children, and they can't get back to sleep. And then they go throughout the day with a sleep deficiency, and it really, really affects their mood, their mental well-being, how they resource through the day. So mainly it's I can't sleep or I have low energy. Low energy, difficulty sleeping. Low energy is probably right up there with difficulty sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those 2 themes are very common. I get those a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Natural Factors, their stress relax line, included in that line of supplements, is Tranquil Sleep. That product, only 3 ingredients in there: L-theanine, melatonin, and 5-HTP. And I've used it for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have sleep issues, but I get a better quality sleep with Tranquil Sleep. It's a wonderful, that whole line is great.
It is. It's an excellent product.
Stress Relax line. How many products in that line? About 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's like 5 products, and it's interesting you mentioned Tranquil Sleep because Natural Factors has over 500 products, and that's always in our top 5 seller year after year. So we know it works. I mean, otherwise, if it didn't work, it wouldn't be in our top 5. Tranquil Sleep works.
Which goes to what you were saying, a common question, I can't sleep, and that's evidenced by, at least incidentally, with that product selling so well and so frequently for Natural Factors. Ed Graham is with me today. That voice you heard is an educator. How long have you been with the company?
17 years. Right. In the industry now for 25.
Boy, you've been fooling them that long, man.
Right. Hang it day by day.
Day by day. This is great. When you're writing for consumers, what's on your mind typically in trying to communicate messages in terms of not necessarily content, but how you're writing?
Okay.
Are there certain principles that you like to follow?
Well, first of all, I just want to clarify that I actually edit the mag. So I work with a team of professionals, and we sit down and we look at issues that are affecting people, real people, every single day. And what we want to do is utilize these physicians to come up with real solutions.
I see.
So we really look at, so we do talk about dietary supplements, but we also talk about exactly what you just said, diet, lifestyle, just like with Mike Lyon on your show last week. You know, we talk about the things that are going to be really important, you know, removing plastics from the households, just things that are affecting our health in today's society.
Do you find that these professionals write in code? And you have to decode it.
You know what? It's interesting because we have just a stable of amazing physicians, and some write very technical, some write very consumer friendly. But we do go in and massage the text to make it so the person walks away feeling really good about what they read, and can practically apply it to their life.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll agree or disagree with this, but I think one of the least convincing arguments to make to anyone, whether you're a physician, a nutritionist, or whatever, and you have a patient or a client, is to tell them why they need to do something. That argument is persuasive, but it's among the less effective arguments. How do I know? Well, look at patient compliance with medications, right?
Absolutely.
The doctor told them till they're blue in the face why they need to take that medication. They don't do it.
Right.
Take a look at weight loss. People know that you're going to tell somebody who's 30, 40 pounds overweight why. They know why. The most persuasive argument, or among the more persuasive arguments, is how.
Correct. How
to do something. The why is part of the argument, but sooner or later, if you don't get to how, you're not serving the client or the patient well.
Exactly.
So what we try to do on the show is talk about how. And you had some firsthand life experience with thyroid.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Would you share your story, and let's see how gets involved here.
Okay. All right. So believe it or not, I was pretty thin my entire life until I was about 38 years old. I started noticing that my nails were breaking. I have a lot of hair, so I wasn't losing a lot of hair, but I was really tired all the time. I could literally sleep through the night, and I am a good sleeper. I don't suffer from any sleep disorders, and I would wake up and just feel like I could fall asleep, crawl on the floor and fall asleep. And so I went to a physician, and he said, "Have you ever had your thyroid tested?" And he tested my thyroid, and my thyroid was my TSH levels were just off. They were over 10. And he said, "How do you get out of bed in the morning?" And I said, "Well, actually, I feel pretty decent most of the time because I am a good eater. I do eat well." But I said I really
How long
suffered.
ago was that?
It was when I was 37, and I will be 62 years old in November.
Wow.
So I will be 62 in November. And so basically, I think what's happening is there's a lot of people walking around out there that are not converting. The thyroid is underactive. It's not working properly. They're tired. They're gaining weight.
How long did it take you to figure out what to do?
Well, the very first thing I did, and I'm trying to remember the book I read because I read an incredible book on iodine, and I went to the health store and I bought Dulcin seaweed, and I came home and I ground it up in a coffee grinder and I put it on everything. I put it on yogurt, I put it on salad, I put it in soup, and I can tell you within 10 days.
And we'll find out what happened in 10 days. We'll be right back.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Figures Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
And Ed Grammer in studio today. They're just with me in this first portion of the show. Want to get Nancy has had her own personal struggle with her thyroid, and for almost 3 decades now, she's figured out how to take care of it. There's a product at Natural Factors called Thyrosense, and she was telling me off air just a moment ago that the formulation, the ingredients in that product are exactly the compounds that you need for hypothyroidism, underactive.
Correct, low thyroid.
Low thyroid. Could you spend a few moments talking about Thyrosense?
Absolutely. So Thyrosense is a very well thought out formula developed by Dr. Michael Murray. It contains pantothenic acid, which helps support the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands and the thyroid glands go hand in hand. The function of them is very important in thyroid health. Iodine, copper, and manganese, which are essential for the thyroid to manufacture thyroid hormones. So, and it's been shown that a deficiency in manganese can contribute to hypothyroidism. It contains L-tyrosine, which helps the body to convert or to produce both T4 and T3 hormone, which the thyroid needs. The thyroid produces 2 hormones, T4 and T3. Mm-hmm. And so usually T4 is more abundant, but T3 is kind of the gas pedal for your metabolism. Mm-hmm. So really important that you're making that conversion between T4 and T3. Mm-hmm. Ashwagandha studies show that it enhances thyroid function and prompts significant increases in T4 production. And then we've got Google lipids, and it also helps convert T4 to T3, and then selenium. Selenium plays an essential role in converting T4 to T3.
So what do you notice when people take that they have an underactive thyroid and they start with the supplement? They start taking that supplement, the Thyrosense. What do they report? What do you observe?
The very first thing they report back is that they have more energy. Within it's very exponential. So within just but a few days, 1 to 2 capsules with breakfast, they have more energy. And what's interesting, Dr. Garko, is that Mike Murray formulated this product that it could be taken by someone like me who actually takes Synthroid medication. So it can be taken by someone who takes Synthroid medication. And so let's say I go in and my TSH is very high and I don't want to increase my medication. I have actually done this. I've supported my adrenals. I've taken Thyrosense. My TSH has come down and I have not increased my medication. Because I think one of the things that's important...
Have you shared that with your physician?
Yes. As a matter of fact, my doctor is 40 years old. She's extremely into holistic. She believes that the range for TSH, I don't know if you're aware of it, but the range for TSH is like, so when they go in, let's say you go in and they say, well, let me test your thyroid. They draw your blood and they don't really quantify it. They just look at the TSH levels, thyroid stimulating hormone. And basically, they just look at a number. And so they say between 0.45 and 4.5 is normal range, but actually 2.0 or less is optimum functioning thyroid. So you've got all these women out there who don't know the 2.0 number, don't keep their TSH under 2.0, and basically they are symptomatic. They are tired, they're losing their hair, they have brittle nails, and so I think that we always tell women when we do consumer lectures, know your number, and you can go up, you can Google, you can look at the Mayo Clinic Mini Thyroid Association will show you the range. And even my doctor, Katie, had been to a seminar and she said, Nancy, they're going to be changing that range. They realize the range is too large and that they need to bring the range down a little bit because people are still feeling bad.
So any patient who is taking Synthroid or some other medication for the thyroid, and they start taking Thyrosense, they should inform their physician that they're taking the supplement, yes?
I would. I mean, I told her I would like to try some herbs, try some different things before I increase my medication. Mm-hmm. Because
nobody should ever stop taking their medication without first talking to their physician.
No, Absolutely not. And with thyroid medication, one of the things that people don't realize, you need to take it at the same time every single day. And
that's a good piece of advice. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I don't know medically why, but they tell you it's very important to take it at the same time every day. And maybe it's just...
It may have something to do with the biological rhythms. That's an interesting point.
And they also tell you nothing to eat or drink for 1 hour. And then
before or after?
After you take it. So you take your Synthroid medication, nothing to eat or drink for an hour, and they tell you to take it with a certain amount of water. And what's interesting is when we were doing these consumer lectures, people were saying, I'm taking Synthroid medication, but I have to have just a little bit of tea with honey in the morning right after I do. And I'm like, no, you have to read the label. It's for absorption. It doesn't absorb, and you actually drink with a lot of water. So I think sometimes when things are written on your prescription label where it says nothing to eat or drink for an hour, drink with 8 ounces of water, right, you need to follow that if you want the medication to work properly.
Mm-hmm. ThyroSense, it's Natural Factors product, and it's part of a line where they're using good sense to formulate these products. ThyroSense,
EstroSense, we have Vein Sense, MenoSense, right? Adrenal Sense,
and using good sense, and use your good sense. And again, please do not ever stop taking medication without first consulting with your physician. And if you are taking medications and you decide to take a supplement that's related to that pharmaceutical in some form or fashion, in other words, it's addressing the same health issue like your thyroid, underactive thyroid, you need to share that with your physician. So your doctor knows, so she knows what you're doing. And when the labs come back and the lab is a lot better, or maybe could be worse, if you're taking the wrong product, then might have some explanation for that. Okay? Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Usually we have you for 2 hours, but today was short. But I'll see you this evening.
Great.
And you're going to be doing a training.
That's true.
Right? And so we'll chat then, and we'll get you back on. And I'm interested in hearing about how you figured out what to do. And you ended up taking the iodine, you read it in a book, and it seemed to work, and one thing led to another. And I'm just curious, I bet along the way you had to educate a doctor or two about what you were doing too. So we'll see. We'll get you back. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's our pleasure. And we'll be back for the second portion of the show. And Natural Factors sold in North America and other countries as well?
Yeah, worldwide.
Yeah. Naturalfactors.com, one of the best supplement companies on the planet.
Family owned for over 50 years.
They make the supplements.
That's right.
Made by, it says on the box, made by.
We actually grow our own, some of them.
I've been to those farms.
Yes.
Beautiful farms. One of my favorite supplement companies of all time. And you can't go wrong. High quality, good raw materials, and they use good sense all through the manufacturing process for all their supplements. Very fond of them. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and globally.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilla Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in. Great to be with you. And we're coast to coast and globally and wherever and however you may be listening and watching the show. We appreciate it very much. And we don't take you for granted. And the affiliates for the show are faves. And we appreciate them allowing us to come into their stations and their communities across the U.S. and to share this effort to educate, empower people to take charge of their health. In a word, that's what we're trying to do every day. And easy to say, challenge to do. And, we just work at it one day at a time. And we'll take our time. And it's evidence-based. If you're new to the show, it's an evidence-based show. Try to find the science, the data to support whatever claims are being made. And track it down and vet it so that whatever comes across these airways, you can have some confidence in what is being said, either by me or a guest. And we invite you to call the show. It's dialogue is far more engaging and entertaining than monologue, for sure. Here's how. There's any number of ways to get in touch with LTN.
You can call us at 877-897-8255, 877-897-8255, or worldwide at 813-636-8255. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition or on Twitter at LTN Radio.
And YouTube, people can you can watch the show there. You can go back. Everything's on demand. But we're live 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, coast to coast, so it does air at different times in different markets. You have to check your local listings. I want to thank Ed Graham and Nancy Cheeseman for coming in. I'll see them this evening. They're going to do a little seminar, and I'll learn more about what's on their mind. A while back, we've had any number of sponsors on the show. A while back, we had a company that sponsored the show for a good while. Strauss. I don't know if you remember back in the day. And, it turns out that they're back. And that's good. And we're gonna get to that here in a little bit. Yesterday, I mentioned the four-letter word. I did it again today. DIET. Diet. You know, it's funny about that word. If you look at the word, the root of diet is what? What is it, Gary?
Die.
Hopefully later rather than sooner. And if it's an unhealthy diet, it's going to be sooner. And if it's a healthy one, it'll be, the odds are good. You increase the chances that it'll be later. And it is about nutrition. Nutrition equals food. Food is gained through your diet. And I always make the distinction between nutrition and diet. And we'll get into that another day. But my point is that there are no secrets here. And what's so intriguing, and I said it 12 years ago, and I can still say it today, and it holds up. The driving force of health, wellness, and well-being is diet. Your diet. And how that food is metabolized. Then nutrition. Right? And so it becomes it's so obvious that people lose sight of it, and then they keep looking and searching for some exotic answer to some health issue. Not to say that at times it's not complicated, it's often complicated. But you have to begin somewhere. And with any illness, any injury, illness, whatever, disease process, if the diet is wrong, it's going to make things far more difficult. And I just find it so, I guess, a little frustrating that principle that diet is the driving force for health, wellness, and well-being escapes even the best of the well-intentioned and the most educated and very talented. I've witnessed it at conferences, trade shows, on this show. Go back to first principles. That will serve you well. It is about the food. Yeah, the body heals itself. You hear that all the time. The body heals itself. The body can't heal itself if the body is not properly nourished. Then enter stage left, you have herbs that get involved. They're derived from plants, food, you know. You have vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, herbal compounds from the plants. These all participate in creating, sustaining, and if necessary, reclaiming your health. Certainly, medical science makes a wonderful contribution. Pharmaceuticals have a place, but so do nutraceuticals. And you have surgeons, you have emergency care. All of those things come together to contribute to a person doing better when confronted with a health challenge. You marshal whatever will help and whatever science can support. And please be careful. Like yesterday, I was in the first portion of the show today, I mentioned reading this book about nutrition and cancer, and I couldn't find one reference in the first 12 to 20 pages. Not one reference. How do you do that? I'm not that smart. I couldn't do it. I'm just saying. Challenge people. Show me the data. When somebody walks up to you, oh yeah, Loretta, I have exactly the solution to your thyroid problem. Your first question, show me the data. Are you expressing an opinion, or do you have some data to support your claim? Or is it just that, an opinion or a claim, no support?
I thought it was amazing how when we went to Expo East, how many people that knew you walked up with paperwork and said, let me show you this.
Right.
And then
you saw that, huh?
Yes, and then
they know better.
Then there was the ones that turned and ran.
Remember the one, I won't mention the name, he had a number of studies ready to show me about his product because he knows.
And he had it exactly how you liked it, was able to quote the studies, pointed them out, and it was amazing. And by the way, I used that product on a couple cuts I had the other day.
Work?
Unbelievable.
It was the silver product.
Yeah, look. It's gone.
Gone, right? Heal?
3 days. 3 days.
Silver Biotics. It's a little harder to do it that way, but in the end, it'll serve you better. So, speaking of herbs, we're going to talk about garlic today. And we're going to, it'll be a conversation that I think you'll find intriguing. We come back, I'll introduce the guest. And if you're not familiar with the company, Strauss, we'll tell you a little, we'll get the guest to share that with you. And sort of it's like a reintroduction back into the show. It's been a while, and always nice to have friends come back and visit. We love that. Always seeking to embrace and learn from others. Canadian company. As it turns out, if you think about it, we just had a company on a moment ago. Natural Factors from Canada. We have more than a few guests on the show from Canada. It's interesting. Our neighbor to the north. Are we on the radio in Canada? We'll be back. Let's talk nutrition coast to coast.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilo Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension. Exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Strauss Naturals. Go to StraussNaturals.com and you will learn a little bit about the company. They were a sponsor a while back, and they're back, and we're delighted to have them back on the show. And today, their spokesperson, educator, if you will, is Wayne Elliott. And Wayne is up in, I don't know if he's in Hamilton. Where is he, Toronto today? Do you know? I'll ask him. But I know he was born in Hamilton, and he was an athlete. He played football, played baseball. He went to the University of Miami. How he got from Canada to, cold to hot, I don't have to ask him about that. I'm quite familiar with the U. And he's up in Ontario, now that I'm looking at my notes, and has a company, works with his sons and whatnot. But in my experience, sometimes you find that it's not a clinical trial or, some scientific project that will convince somebody that something works. It's their own personal experience. And this sort of, from what I can gather, happened to Wayne. And I'm going to let him tell his story. I've never met Wayne. I've never spoken with Wayne. So we're introducing him. You're meeting him just as I'm meeting him. Wayne, welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. It's great to have you on.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Are you in Ontario today?
I am. I'm at my home in Long Beach, in Niagara region.
Oh, yeah. It's
Ontario.
It's beautiful up there, right?
I have Lake Erie right in front of me, a nice sandy beach. It's beautiful today.
Now, let me ask you, does Lake Erie still self-combust at times? You remember years ago, you'd be out there on a boat and all of a sudden a fire would break out onto the water. You remember those days?
You're talking about a river in Cleveland, Ohio, but yes, back in the 60s, I'm actually an environmentalist and a recycler by trade for the past 45 years,
Right.
Michael, and so that's my basis. But no, Lake Erie is beautiful today, clear, and
wonderful.
the Great Lakes have really cleaned up in the last 20 or 30 years.
Well, thank goodness.
It took Mother Nature to do it, mind you. It was all about nature. I really enjoyed the last 20 minutes listening to you. I'm very much aligned with you and very aligned with nature, which are most of my teachings from Jim Strauss, Michael.
Yeah, great. That's great. It's nice to have you on. So you work with your sons?
I do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
That's very cool. Yeah, we're in various businesses, recycling old ships and waste batteries, hazardous waste, scrap metals. It's been very exciting for me, and I'm very grateful to have my sons and a whole bunch of other young people in our small group of companies. My passion is this, though, to be honest, and that's why I continue to do it for so many years and do some of these talk shows and lectures. That's absolutely always my pleasure.
So, at some point in your life, you got introduced to Strauss heart drops. Could you share your narrative, your story as to how that happened, what occasioned you or got you in touch with that product and what it has meant to you and how has it changed your life?
Well, starting near the end of the story, it certainly changed my life, saved my life first. I'll always believe that. A long time ago, after finishing my sports playing and gaining weight and so forth and eating and carrying on like I was still playing sports, my nemesis, as it turns out, was milk. I drank gallons of it a day.
Oh, my.
When I went to school at Miami, I often would have 25 or 30 glasses of chocolate milk for dessert.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
It was just my favorite food. You'd think my mother was a cow, but anyway, it almost killed me. It clogged my arteries and many of the vessels in my body, affecting my hearing and so forth. But so very lucky anyway that I had some sort of attack in my late 30s. I'll always be grateful for surviving because I didn't do anything about it. I felt fine afterward, and it was another 6 years or so before I found the Strauss company, Jim Strauss. And
how did you come upon them?
A fellow that I had trained in the recycling business years before from Kitchener, Ontario, he had moved out to the West Coast and started on his own. And he had a heart attack, and he was lucky enough to find the Strauss heart drops and save himself the bypass surgery. Well, I hadn't heard from him in a couple of months, and when I did, this is what he told me. In the meantime, I had read that Harvard had discovered, I think in 1972 or 3, that the earlobe crease was the best predictor of clogged arteries.
Yeah, we talked about that not long ago on the show, but go ahead.
So when I read this, I looked in the mirror, of course, and had creases in both my earlobes. And like many in my family before me, figured that, well, okay, so it's going to be heart attack for me. And so I was just so grateful once I did find the Strauss heart drops, and just as grateful really for aligning with Jim Strauss, traveling together and taking over the lecture work for him. It certainly changed my life and continues to every day. As I say, I get such great personal rewards talking to other folks about this stuff. I can't tell you.
Well, this is good. We like to hear these firsthand accounts. You're an authentic, personal, genuine account of that someone such as yourself has experienced and wants to share with others. When we come back, there are a few things I'd like to ask you, and then we'll unpack that a little bit. There's a lot in that. There's a lot in that story, and where you are now, where you were, and how you got where you are now. This is all good. StraussNaturals.com. I'm at their website right now, and pay a visit. And Strauss Heart Drops sold in fine health stores throughout North America, and it's an interesting product. We'll get Wayne to explain it. We'll break it down a little bit. We'll take our time. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and in North America.
Women who are pregnant or planning to have a child have specific nutritional needs. Maintaining optimal nutritional intake is important for mother and baby. Body Vigor's Preferred Prenatal can help mother and baby receive the appropriate building blocks for growth, development, and healthy function. The Preferred Prenatal formula provides essential vitamins and minerals, along with added support ingredients such as folic acid and DHA. Preferred Prenatal also incorporates a bonus herbal blend to help the mom-to-be with the uncomfortable side effects of pregnancy, like nausea, vomiting, mood swings, and uterine health. Support a healthy pregnancy for you and your baby with Preferred Prenatal, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for stopping by today. Wayne Elliott is my guest today, first-time guest on the show. Just in those first few moments, you sense a note of authenticity, right? And you look for that when you're in this business. Does this person sound credible? Do they sound truthful? Do they sound sincere? People pay attention to that. I certainly do. Turns out he's a nice man. We did a little bit of research on him. I never met Wayne before. And he has a business. He and his 5 sons work up in Ontario. And he, like a spokesperson, if you will, educator for Strauss Naturals. He's not compensated. You know, they don't give him a fancy car and, you know, whatever. He does it because he wants to share his story. And I pay attention to those data too. When somebody has a health issue and they get onto something and it seems to help them, I'm interested. And that's what he's here to do. That's what he's here to do today, share his story. Wayne, welcome back. So there you were, an athlete at the University of Miami, and drinking milk like nobody's business. Continued to probably eat in a way that was not healthy, and you thought you were still an athlete, probably put on some weight. And at some point, you thought maybe you might have some cardiovascular issues, and then you got introduced to the Strauss heart drops. Did you notice any difference after a time when you started to take them?
Well, there's no question about that. I also had developed heart arrhythmia, supraventricular tachycardia, they called it. I had a one-beat race, but I felt every one, and it, over a number of years, kind of drove me crazy. I went to sleep with it, woke up with it, and I lost energy over the time between late 30s and when I discovered Strauss, or it discovered me, and at about age 44. I believe this is the 20th year.
Oh, wow. You've been taking 20 years. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll never stop. Why would I? I'm obviously prone to clogging like others in my family before me, my grandpas and grandmas and uncle and cousin, and hardening of the arteries, they used to call it.
They still do. They still do.
Okay, well, it's not nice. And so anyway, I've been so lucky, and I remain so grateful that I did find the heart drops. But in addition to losing energy, I didn't recognize the anxiety at the time. I really didn't. I thought I was just having some quiet time, and I really didn't want to do much, speak on the phone or anything. Anyway, when I got that first bottle of Strauss heart drops, the first thing that happened to me, I didn't want to leave them anywhere. I'd read the Harvard magazine article. I believed I had heart disease and had that one attack years before. And so I didn't want to forget my bottle somewhere. I put it on my bathroom sink, and I took it at the start and finish of my day, and I took double the minimum dosage that they tell you to. So I took a half a dropper twice a day. Before I ordered my second bottle, the hearing returned to my left ear, which I discovered by accident, doing what you shouldn't do, talking on the phone in the car, and actually went to reach for something to see if I was available for an appointment, and I heard the gentleman speak to someone else in the background.
Wow.
I took the phone in my left ear. So yeah, wow, indeed. And after that, really, in the 6th and 7th week, I was on the heart drops. My bronchial really began to clear, and cripes, I couldn't clear my voice without some nasty stuff coming up, and that was wonderful for about 2 weeks. I really cleared. I understand our heart pumps our blood onto our lungs, and so it would make sense, I suppose, if you had a lot of cholesterol in your system, that your lungs. A lot of people with heart trouble have breathing issues as well. So that was wonderful to stop wheezing. And when I ordered my second bottle, I ordered 100 of them. And I wanted to do my own. Yeah, I wanted to do my own test, which I did right from my oldest son at age, I think, 19 or 20, up to some of my customers in the industrial business. I guess it was a heck of a leap of faith when I think about it. but the results were just great with everyone. My son, he never slept in again. My oldest son, he once in a while would sleep in on the weekends. Well, he never did again. I don't know what other benefits that he found, but and of course I continued to get more and more energy, and I think I was the example that Strauss began to refer to warn people, don't do it. It's very invigorating when you increase your blood flow. It's hard to explain, really.
Well, it makes sense because your blood is what transports the nutrients and the oxygen to your cells. And if your cardiovascular system, your arteries are clogged and your heart is having to pump real hard because the coronary arteries are clogged and you have arteries along the system that are clogged, it becomes very difficult to nourish those cells throughout your entire body. That's why you were experiencing fatigue. And then once the arteries started to clear up, if you will, get a little bit more blood flow, you felt better because literally you had more nutrients and more oxygen. It's not complicated.
That's right. It was fantastic as I was getting more oxygen, as you say, along with everything else. The blood system's our only transportation system, I know. And so as my blood flow increased, boy, and that energy increased, I can honestly say by between the third and fourth month, I was convinced that I was, well, I don't want to say superhuman, but that I could do anything. And I almost stopped sleeping for a period. And thankfully, Strauss Sr. was staying with me at that time. I'd met him for the first time. He came back to Ontario with me. And he would get up to maybe use the bathroom at night or get a drink of water and would see me working and warn me that, you have to get rest. No matter how well you feel, you have to get rest.
You have to sleep. So, can you share a little bit about Mr. Strauss and any insight that, he's now passed away, as I understand it, but he started the company. Was he an herbalist, or what do you know about him?
I know a lot about Jim. I'll never forget him. He was an 8th-generation herbalist. They had the very unique craft of recognizing the medicinal value of herbs by taste, just like a cook or a chef or your mother would, making you a good soup or a meal. And they had this trade down so pat by taste. He passed it along to his son Peter, who is the master
herbalist
mind behind the business today. And they developed the heart drops for Jim himself in 1980. That was the newest family formula after Jim had a major heart attack in Vancouver, BC. And instead of having surgery, which they suggested he do immediately, he flew home in a medical helicopter and couldn't lay down or walk for the angina pain. He and his son Peter, over the course of several hours, discussed and made what today is the Strauss heart drops.
You can't make that up, right? See how? Necessity. Yeah, the mother of invention. We'll be back.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Here's the LTN health question of the day. I'm having a nice conversation with Wayne Elliott. He's not a scientist. He's not, somebody out there that's being paid to come on to the show. He's just doing this because he just wants to share the message and his experience with Strauss heart drops. And, he says it has saved his life. I believe him. Here's the question. He alluded to the Strauss family. The Strauss family, long line of herbalists. How many generations of herbalists have been in that family? He gave the answer. How many generations of herbalists? Was it 2, 4, or 8? 2 generations, 4 generations, or is this the 8th generation? Here's the number to call. Right answer, $25 supplement gift card.
877-897-8255. 877-897-8255. Anywhere in our listening audience, you can call now.
And the Strauss Naturals, their products are the result of that however many generations of developing, producing, and applying herbal formulas to help people. How many generations have they done? For how many generations have they done that? 2, 4, or 8? 877-897-8255. Wayne, welcome back. Have you ever had any scans done on your heart over the years, or no?
Yes, only non-intrusive, such as the ultrasound of the carotid arteries that I'd also developed a problem with, and I understand that cholesterol is more in the form of stringy fat. I actually did meet a vascular surgeon and spent a half an hour with him after the testing and looking all that over. By the time I got to see him in Canada, it isn't like the United States. I waited 7 months to see the vascular surgeon, and so that was just a great opportunity to. I'd gotten slack with the Strauss heart drops, and I never did quit many of the bad diet habits that you were speaking of earlier that can get us.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with 50 and 60% blockage in my carotid arteries. By the time I saw the good doctor in Niagara, the vascular surgeon, he said he had another ultrasound test done before the appointment with him. And when I got in there with him, he said, "Geez, a fellow your age, it's good. It's what's to be expected. We wouldn't do anything with you." So I'd gone from 50 to 60%. The test said to 20 to 25%.
Oh, good. So it decreased.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. You have to. A lot of people believe if I just take the supplement, I can continue to do the diet and lifestyle violations. No, you can't. You have to try, and the supplements are just that. I mean, they can help a great deal. But if somebody's, if you had continued to eat and live the way you had, not even holy water would have worked. You follow my point?
Sure. Well, I've often as well thought it's even more important to get enough of the right stuff. As Jim Strauss used to say, none of us will eat raw carrots and celery sticks for the rest of our life and nothing else. But you do need enough of the good stuff. And it's a challenge today, Dr. Michael, with the genetically modified foods and the man-made artificial, I like to call them foods, seedless foods, that lack their own good immune system. And so I think it's a big cause for diseases on the rise.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. And, at every bend and turn, there are processed foods that are clear-cut of their nutrients, packaged in all sorts of forms to look better, smell better, taste better. But nutritionally, you'd be better off to go out into the forest and pick some greens and eat those. 877-897-8255. How many generations has the Strauss family been involved as herbalists in developing their formulas? I'll make it easy for you. Was it 2 generations or is 8? And let me give you a hint. They've been doing this a very long time. And the family history is rather interesting. We can't get into it today. How old is your oldest son?
My oldest son will be 40 on his next birthday. I'm 63 myself today.
Okay. Has he ever had a heart scan done or had any sort of testing done on his cardiovascular system?
Not other than regular blood tests. He's a very healthy young fellow, exercises, eats well, works hard.
Good.
Good shape, but we've not been. There isn't anyone in the family that's taken so much as an aspirin in the last 18 or 20 years.
That's great.
And, so we've done very well, very nicely.
Very good. And in general, how would you describe the way you live, your day-to-day life? How would you describe that?
All my family, including myself, we're hard workers. My average day now is probably 10 to 12 hours, 6 days a week. I used to work much more over periods. And, the boys all work hard running their own operations and ship recycling yards and so forth. So we're all hard workers, and we enjoy our time off. We love our family dinners and a few of the sports. But, yeah, we work a lot and try and pay attention to our health the best we can.
Of course.
Wayne, Gary Gilkey here. You're a blue collar guy. So you're probably the type of guy that's like me that, I don't want to go to the doctor because if I go to the doctor, then I'm sick. Right? And that's how I look at it. And I'm looking at this picture of you by the submarine, and you look amazing for your age. And yeah, it's just unbelievable.
I feel very good. Thank you. And to be honest, I go for blood work every 4 or 5 years unless I feel there's something wrong with me, which I haven't. You should have
an annual checkup. Annual.
Everybody should.
Annual checkup, Wayne. We're going to get you back on. Let's go to Oldsmar, Florida. Bruce, what's the answer? How many generations has the Strauss family been involved in the development and manufacture of herbal formulas?
Well, remarkably, 8 generations.
8.
I believe.
That's unbelievable. I know. 8.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Bruce. You won a $25 supplement gift card. 8 generations of anything is great. Wayne, thank you so much for being on the show. You sound like a good man, a good person, family man. You remind me of my dad listening to you, hardworking. All he thought about was his family. Take care of the family. It was a privilege to have you on. Thank you so much. StraussNaturals.com. Visit them. Your health is your wealth.